Hey everyone! Today I wanted to make this video because I have been thinking so much about my teaching practice, and I think a lot of us have been doing a lot of reflection lately, especially if you are like me where you are alone and you are spending a lot of time by yourself. There's a lot of space for us to think and really consider how we want to show up in the world and how we want to shine our lights. I was just talking to my mentor teacher who I worked with at Schlitz Audubon, and they reminded me of something that I had on our refrigerator. The first year I ever taught, I made a sticky note and I put it on the refrigerator and it said, "What do you want to practice today?" And this has always been my vision, and my goal as a teacher is to really reflect on me and what I want to put out into the world. And over this couple of months, this year, we have really been challenged in this way. We have been challenged because we have so many things that we're reflecting on in our personal life, so many things that are happening in the world, that it's really challenging to come back to, what do I want to practice today? So in today's video, I want to guide you in a practice. I want to guide you to help support you in finding your why you do this work, and really support you in thinking about your reflection as a teacher and how you want to show up in your classroom. A couple of years ago, I chose to take a course called Rock Your Bliss with Jackie Carr and Mary Beth LaRue. And this really helped me to figure out what I value in my work and what I see myself doing in my life. And honestly, this changed my course of teaching so much because I decided to take this course and I decided to really look in with myself. So the first thing that I did was I thought about my values. What lights me up? What are some things that make me me and make me feel good? In our classroom, there are so many different things, right, that we can think about that probably don't make us feel as good that we have to do. And then there's so many things that definitely light you up. For me, what lights me up is the natural world. Being outside for me is where I feel like myself. As a child, I spent so much time outside, and I remember being just full of joy when I was out there. And I had a really difficult time in school. So being outside, I just felt like I could be me, and I didn't have this pressure of not being smart enough or not knowing how to do that math problem or blah, 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 you know? So nature was always my grounding space. Nature felt like a breath of fresh air for me, honestly, where I could go and I could just look, and it didn't really matter what I knew and what I didn't know. What I knew was that I was there. So I always felt like nature was such a big value of mine, and that's why I went into the nature preschool realm, because I wanted to teach children outdoors and I wanted to help support them in finding their joy of being outside and what really makes them feel good when they're out there. Another value that I found when I was reflecting on my purpose is that I really enjoy supporting. I really love the place that I can be to speak with you all and spend some time with you and guide you wherever you might need me. I also love supporting children and scaffolding their learning outside and meeting them where they're at. I just find so much joy in that, especially when I have a child that, pushes the boundaries so hard. I have so much joy in helping them because they just are there to I just have so much joy helping them. I just find that they challenge me to think about what I'm saying, and they challenge me to become a better teacher. So I really enjoy working with students like that. So those are two of my values. And the way that you can figure out your values is really sit still, get really still, and journal a little bit. So think about the things that really mean a lot to you. What would you say in your heart means the world to you? What are some things that when you do it, you feel so good and so grounded? And then make a list of all those things that make you feel that way. And then narrow it down, and then come up with a few words that encompass that feeling. And see what you come up with. I have 5 of my core values, and I try to live by these core values. Leading this way makes me feel so much more grounded in who I am. And I do find when I'm not leading this way, I feel so dysregulated and I feel so icky, and I'm always looking for ways to ground myself instead of coming back to my words, my values, in order to do this work. So last week I felt super dysregulated. I was going through a lot of emotions, a lot of big changes in my life, and I was feeling some big feelings. And instead of going to my values and leading from a place of my values, I was looking for people, I was looking for things, I was looking for ways that others can make me feel grounded. When honestly, if I looked at my values, if I came back to gratitude, if I came back to knowledge, if I came back to nature, I would have felt grounded in myself. So leading from this place makes me feel so much more grounded, makes me understand where I can show up and how I can shine my light in the classroom and for myself. So once I knew my values and once I knew how I wanted to live and how I wanted to ground in who I am, and obviously this is work, like I have to come back to this every single day of my teaching career and my life to make sure that I'm showing up from a place that feels good to me. And there are going to be days that I feel dysregulated, like last week when I was just going through my thing. I can call on my values in order for me to shine my light and lead from a place that feels good. And instead I chose not to. And that's when I was going down a downward spiral that just wasn't good for me. And when I came back to myself, I felt so much better going outside and grounding in the natural world, reaching out to people I care about, making sure that I'm sharing gratitude instead of thinking about all the things I need and want. So values are a big part of my teaching practice. Values are a big part of my life because I can check in with myself and make sure that I am leading from that way instead of saying, girl, where are you going? Like, you're not leading from any place. Another thing that I want to share with you all that has made a big difference in my teaching career has been thinking about what I want and what I don't want. And the reason why I think this is so crucial for our teaching practice is because when we're in the classroom, oftentimes when we started off in this field, we had a mentor teacher that was there teaching us how to teach. Or if we were in our college career and, teaching practices, we had somebody telling us how we were supposed to teach, right? And then we ended up crafting our own teaching practice that felt good to us. But it took a while, right? It takes time to be the teacher that we are and be true to ourselves. So why I like sitting down and creating a space for me to think about what I want and what I don't want really helps me to think about what's happening in my classroom that I don't really care about or don't love and don't feel good about, and what do I love and what am I doing in my class space that makes me feel good. How am I connecting with the children? Am I feeling from a place of like yes, or am I feeling from a place of like no? And creating this web makes me realize that I want more of what I want and I want to lessen what I don't want. Obviously, we can't get rid of documentation. We can't get rid of assessment type of tools. We can't get rid of helping support scaffolding learning, right? We can't get rid of those things, but how can we do it in a way that makes us feel good? Maybe documentation doesn't have to look like us writing notes all the time. Maybe it can be us taking photos of the kids. That lights you up. Maybe it can be making a book of what the children are learning about if that lights you up, So finding ways to do what you have to do and don't want to do in a way that you can do it. This can also lead to us thinking about what we don't like about our class space. Maybe we're feeling like, why do we even do calendar? Or maybe we're feeling like, I don't like all of these transitions and I don't want to feel frustrated during this such and such of our day. So then we can say, okay, like that doesn't feel good to me. How can I create what I want? I want to feel grounded during transitions. I want to feel loved during this space of my day. I want to feel like our day is full of fun, and I want to feel like I am supporting and scaffolding learning. Once I know what I want, I can really craft a space that feels good to me in my classroom. And I can express myself with my co-teacher, my assistant, my lead, to let them know what I want to create and how I want to show up in the classroom. And obviously, if you're working with somebody else, sometimes this is like a marriage, right? You have to come together. Each of you can do the practice separately and then come together and share with each other what you want to do in your classroom and how you can both kind of bridge that gap together and marry yourself together, I did this practice with one of my co-teachers, and honestly, it was eye-opening for me because I realized what I want is different than what they want. And that was one of the reasons why we were having such a hard time gelling together, because they were focusing on what they were putting out into the world, where I was focusing on what I wanted to learn and guide children in. I wanted to show up in a way that was supportive, and they wanted to show up in a way that felt more like, what am I teaching the children? So it was an interesting thing for us to come together and learn about. Really worked with each other to figure out a happy medium of like how we could really support learning in our classroom and why we do the work that we do. And the last piece I would love to offer you all is just thinking about your why. Why are you here? Why do you want to support children in learning outdoors? Why are you a teacher? Why did you choose this profession? All of those questions and reflecting on those will help you understand you and help you understand you better, what you want to do more of. If your why doesn't match with what you are putting out into the world, maybe teaching isn't where you're supposed to be, then finding some time to reflect on where you want to be. That's what I ended up doing for myself. I have been teaching for 8 years and I have thoroughly loved every single day of it. There are days that I'm like, oh my gosh, no. But every single day I come to work and I love it and it lights me up. But I was finding that I have something else. I have something else that's lighting me up, and my light is so bright in this one area that I feel like I have to follow it. And I have to leave that classroom. I have to leave this space that I have called home for 8 years in order for me to channel this new thing, which is supporting you all and supporting teachers and providing guidance and just support in this outdoor field. So that's why I've been offering coaching and consulting work. That's why I've been doing these YouTube videos. That's why I have my Instagram account. And that's why I'm here. And I am leading from my truth. I made this goal for myself a year ago, and here I am. And I'm so excited to be here. Obviously, I still teach in the classroom a little bit, but I'm starting to wind down in that classroom field. And I don't know if I'll go back. I kind of am feeling like I want to cultivate something different. I want to offer parent-child classes or caregiver-child classes where I can spend a little bit more time connecting with caregivers because they need us too. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you feel a little bit more grounded. I hope you do these practices, and if you do, let me know what happens, because honestly, they have meant so much to my growth and so much to my reflective teaching practice that I have just honored myself through this. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you aren't already, please consider subscribing, and I will see you next time. Have a great rest of your day, shining that light to you because you need it and you got it, you have it. Receive it. Have a great day. Bye.